Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Two regions in this country are going to determine who becomes the next president of the Republic of Kenya. The first region which is going to determine who becomes the next president of the Republic of Kenya is the larger Mount Kenya region. Mount Kenya region are going to determine who becomes the next president because of two main reasons. The first reason is because of numbers. Politics is a game of numbers. When you talk of numbers, Mount Kenya region has the numbers. And because they have the numbers, they'll determine who becomes the next president of the Republic of Kenya. The second reason why they are going to determine the next president of the Republic of Kenya is the fact that as we speak, Mount Kenya region is not going to produce a presidential candidate. Or let me put it this way. They're not going to produce a credible presidential candidate in this year's election. Because of those two reasons, Mount Kenya region will determine who becomes the next president of the Republic of Kenya. If William Ruto, for example, will be able to garner 85% of Mount Kenya region, and he will be able to penetrate Coast and Western Kenya, let me assure you, William Ruto will be the next president of the Republic of Kenya. And I know there are several other factors which determines the next president of the Republic of Kenya. But if he will be able to do that, get 85% from the larger Mount Kenya region, make good inroads in the coastal region, and again in Western Kenya, even the system will not stop him. If, for example, Raila Odinga were to get between 30 to 40% of the votes from the larger Mount Kenya region, then he will be able, for example, to thwart William Ruto's or to block William Ruto from penetrating Coast and Western Kenya. Raila Odinga will easily become the next president of the Republic of Kenya. So, Western Kenya and the mountain will be. But for Western Kenya, how is it going to determine the next president of the Republic of Kenya? Again, number one is the numbers. Western Kenya has the numbers and they are spread across the country. So whoever will manage to win their support will definitely become the next president of the Republic of Kenya. As we speak today, Western Kenya has a presidential candidate in the name of Mudavadi. But Mudavadi, in my view, is not a serious presidential candidate. And at the beginning, towards the end of last year, it was clear that Mudavadi was going to be the preferred presidential candidate from the larger Western Kenya region, or from the larger Luhya nation. And I remember opining on this platform that if there was an individual whom the president can easily make the president of the Republic of Kenya, then that individual is Mudavadi. But Mudavadi is making life difficult for anybody who wants to make him the president to do so. In 2002, Raila Odinga wanted Mudavadi. He took off. He took off. In 2013, for example, Kibaki wanted Mudavadi. He's lazy. So Uhuru came, took the presidency. In 2017, I strongly believe Uhuru Kenyatta would have been comfortable with Mudavadi. But again, Mudavadi is making it difficult. But the fact of the matter is that at some point, Mudavadi had emerged as a serious presidential candidate of choice for the people of the Mulembe nation. But as things stand today, Raila Odinga has successfully managed to kick Mudavadi out of Western Kenya politics, and Raila Odinga is now in charge of the larger Luhya politics. If you are in doubt, I want you to listen to the Matungu member of parliament who was elected just the other day, asking the residents of Kakamega, because Kakamega determines the voting pattern in the larger Western Kenya, in the larger Luhya nation. I want you to listen to him asking the residents where he should go. Listen in.
Aya kuleleza abantu benya UDA ya Ruto ilibaro bachinja mukono. Aya abantu benya baba mengalia.
No, that is Peter Nabulindo. And from the questions and the answers, it's obvious Raila Odinga has now taken charge of Kakamega. And this is not the only time he has been making this kind of, he's been asking the residents where to go to. He's been doing that throughout the constituency.
Findu vichenjanga nuite no olanyola azimio ilieno olanyola wheelbarrow ilieno esielano erule Nairobi baru mirembo tiorebe bandu baobe matungu benya barye benya kutie mwazimio nomba kutie mu wheelbarrow azimio kutie mwazimio aya bandu ba wheelbarrow chinje ho muhono bandu ba wheelbarrow chinje ho muhono
So far, for example, in Kakamega County, where ODM had only 2 members of parliament, today, Nabulindo is supporting Raila Odinga. Savula is supporting Raila Odinga. Wangwe is supporting Raila Odinga from Kakamega alone. As we speak, Aseka Miradi is supporting Raila Odinga and others. Almost now more than half are supporting Raila Odinga. So what is really wrong with Musalia Mudavadi? In this video today, I want to explain to you guys why Raila Odinga has managed to strategically take charge of Western Kenya politics from Musalia Mudavadi, who was clearly going to take charge if he had strategy. But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two. Click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. So the request is, please give this one thumbs up. For those who can drop their comments, please drop your comments. If you can share this video with a friend, please do so. Let us get back to business. And I want to be very brief. Why do you think Raila Odinga has now managed to kick Mudavadi out of Luhya politics, and Raila Odinga is now at the steering wheel or at the steering seat? Why? Number one, Musalia Mudavadi lack strategy. That is the thing. Musalia Mudavadi is not serious. You know, this is an election year. We have only 7 months to the next election. But Musalia Mudavadi is clearly confused. He is not serious. So all other aspirants are looking at it from this perspective, that between Mudavadi, Ruto and Raila, where should we go? We wanted to go with Mudavadi because he's a lawyer. Being on the ballot was going to give us an advantage. But Mudavadi is not serious. He doesn't have a strategy of making himself a clear choice for the presidency. And because of that lack of strategy, they're now saying either we make a choice between Ruto and Raila. And that's the choice people are making. When you saw that video of Nabulindo asking residents, when he asked, nani anasema tuende kwa Ruto, there were few hands. Nani anasema tuende kwa Mudavadi, there were no hands. Nani anasema tuende kwa Raila, majority. So clearly it means Musalia Mudavadi lacks strategy. That's, if you ask me, that's number one. Number two is project tag. You see, Mudavadi announced that he was going to run for the presidency. Then from nowhere, Mudavadi starts saying, okay, I'm going to go with Ruto. And then he has allowed it appear as if Ruto is funding his campaigns. And he's doing nothing about it. And this is what is annoying most people. Let us go to Kakamega County, for example. In Kakamega, Musalia Mudavadi had a serious guy, Ayub Savula, competing to be the governor. Then he had Cleophas Malala, a man I highly respect, because I believe Malala has a way of doing his things. So Malala started leaning towards Ruto and pushing Musalia Mudavadi towards Ruto. When he organized his tournament, William Ruto was physically present. Mudavadi was not present. So when questions were asked, he stated that the only reason why he doesn't have a problem with that is because of freedom of association, which is okay. But the other question he has failed to answer is why, for example, the former Secretary General of ANC, Otsosi, who was associating himself with Raila Odinga, was kicked out of ANC party. The other question he has failed to answer is why, for example, Ayub Savula was dismissed. Actually, they wrote a warning letter to Savula for supporting Azimio. So it's double standard. And because of that, people believe that Musalia Mudavadi is actually a project. And a project of who? A project of William Ruto. So the question is, if you come from Busia, for example, Busia County, then you wanted to support Mudavadi because you believe Mudavadi is a lawyer, you can easily rally behind him. Then he gives you the choice of Ruto. While you know so well that Busia is ODM stronghold. As an aspirant, you definitely move or shift to Raila Odinga's camp. And that's what most of these leaders are doing. Number 3, Musalia Mudavadi has successfully managed to kick himself out of Western Kenyan politics because he's a hostage to a clique in his camp. There was a time I had a talk with a guy who is a close ally of Mudavadi and asked him what's happening. He told me that the biggest problem Mudavadi is facing is that you can talk with Mudavadi and agree. Then when he goes home, he will meet people like Kabatesi. That time Moloka was still there. He will meet someone like Moloka. He will meet someone like Agoy. And those guys will make the final decision. If they don't agree, it's it. If they dismiss you, it's it. If they want it, it will be implemented. So Mudavadi is actually hostage to a clique. I remember I was talking to some of my friends who are very good friends of mine. Eliud Owalo still is a friend of mine. He was a very good friend of mine because he worked with him. And when I worked at Okoa Kenya, it's actually the one who gave me that job because he was very close to Raila at that time. And I remember also talking to my friend Hassan Omar. These guys told me something which I talked to them separately because they had moved to ANC, if you remember. Owalo had moved to ANC. Before moving to UDA, Hassan Omar also wanted to go to ANC. So they told me that the problem they faced with Mudavadi is that they had all agreed, because they are friends, Hassan, Mudama, and Owalo, they had actually agreed to join ANC party because for them, it was going to be easier for them to be with Mudavadi and at the right time, then join Raila Odinga. And they believed that there was space for them in ANC. But things were not moving. They would talk, this guy will go back to his clique. And that's how they decided not to join ANC. That's why how Mudama ended up joining UDA, Owalo joining UDA, Omar joining UDA, because of that clique. And that clique is not very popular. And on the ground, they don't have impact. And that's why Mudavadi is suffering. That's why Raila Odinga has now taken charge. Number 4 is the One Kenya Alliance movement. You see, when Mudavadi left NASA, together with Kalonzo and Weta, they wanted to form a very strong coalition. Of course, Mudavadi cannot become president without forming a coalition. So their supporters believed that One Kenya Alliance movement was going to be a strong force. Either Mudavadi becoming the presidential candidate, or even Kalonzo. They didn't have any problem with that. But how is One Kenya Alliance movement today? Because of mistrust, is collapsing. Who do want to join a collapsing house? None of the politicians, the supporters are not comfortable, and Raila Odinga's campaign is taking shape, and that's why they're trooping to Raila Odinga's side. So One Kenya Alliance movement factor. To an extent that now we have camps. Luhya side has now 4 people because they have now 4 principals. There's a principal called Cyrus Jirongo. There's a principal called Marende. There's a principal called Weta, and there's a principal called Mudavadi. Then on the other side, there's Gideon Moi and Kalonzo. So because of Kalonzo, Gideon Moi leaning towards Uhuru, the mistrust is there. So nobody would want to join a place where there's mistrust. Number 5, and the main thing why Raila Odinga has kicked out Mudavadi is because of Musalia Mudavadi indecisiveness. Mudavadi can't decide. As we speak today, you can't tell me whether Mudavadi is with Raila, whether it's with Ruto, whether he's going to run for the presidency. Kenyans love people who decide. The reason why William Ruto is appealing to most people is because of his ability to decide. He can decide to leave Uhuru and tell Uhuru that I'm leaving. He can decide to tell Raila to kutane kwa debe, and they'll be happy with that. That is a character which Mudavadi is lacking. And lastly, is Raila Odinga's campaign in Western Kenya. The truth of the matter is that Raila Odinga has campaigned in Western Kenya. And because of those campaigns, he's actually gaining the ground. He's gaining grounds which were lost. He has employed the services of Francis Atwoli, Oparanya, Eugene Wamalwa, and the efforts are actually paying off. That's why you are able to see many members of parliament trooping back to ODM party, because Raila Odinga is campaigning. He's now emerging as a strong presidential candidate. So if there were leaders from Western Kenya who had thought that Raila Odinga was finished, now they are seeing him campaigning, Mudavadi not campaigning, then now they have no choice. They have to join Raila Odinga. And that's the truth. And that's how Raila Odinga has now managed to kick Mudavadi out of Western Kenya politics. I don't know what you think. That's my take. And for those who are watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button, so that next time you produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day. Bye-bye.